all is well with you. It's Negah. I'm back again after a long break. And it's so tough to explain why I was away. You know, my life is everywhere. And it's so funny because now I can call you from America and the next day I will call you and tell you that I'm in Iran. One of my friends actually makes fun of me all the time about it. He says that this back and forth between Iran and America, you got used to it so fast that for you it's like going from a city to another. I'm so glad, however, that I made this break between the previous video and this one of this collection because of the fact that during the past 6 months I have developed a lot. My entire view toward practicing and musicianship and piano performance has changed totally due to the events that happened to me for the college. I was working at the same time. I was an accompanist, I was teaching, and I was a full-time student, obviously, trying to get my college works done. And at the same time, you see your juries are coming. Thanks to my piano professor, I tried another approach for practicing this time so that I have another, like a totally different result out of my practicing sessions, which reflected in a good way. During my juries, I had my juries with more confidence and I could prepare everything. Most of the information that I'm going to give you in the future, in this video and in the future, are the results of this 6 months. Instead of explaining to you the strategies that you have to use to deal with different issues during your practicing session, like for example, how to practice this, how to practice that, first we want to explain the view that you have to have toward your practicing session in order to have a good performance. It should be pointed out that a majority of our goal is to improve our memory as well. So most of the strategies and the informations and the tactics I teach you will help you also to have a good memory, because one part of your performance is how you sound and other stuffs, but a big part of it, 50% of it, is how you develop your memory and memorization. So to wrap our introduction, this video is about the appropriate view to our practice that our performance would deserve. The first rule that you have to think about is to not view your piece as 3 different elements of notes, musicality or music, and technique. It is very common, a lot of people have this approach that, okay, let me do the notes first. When I could play the entire piece correctly with correct notes, then I'm going to do the techniques, practice the techniques, then at last I go to the music or whatever. But it is important to view your music as a whole music, not 3 different elements that you have to put in a correct way in order to have a good performance or a good piece, right? And honestly, let's give up on the idea of correct performance. Instead of that, let's think of good performance and not good, the sounding that you want to produce, right? And the music that you want to project, the performance that you want to project to the audience. For that, when you practice, obviously when you just start a piece, you cannot or a new part, you cannot put everything together at the same time in the first place, right? But what I do instead is to select one part of my piece and try to get a sounding out of it that I really like. So I put the notes together, then I do the technique maybe, and try to have a good musicality in that part, whether it's 2 measures, whether it's an entire system or whatever, but I want to have the best sounding out of it. When I'm sure that I really like this sounding, then I move on to the next part and learn the next part. The next thing to remember is to be your first listener and a detailed one. You might have wondered why a lot of pianists are conductors and conductors are pianists. The truth is, us as pianists are actually our own conductor. And that's why, because piano pieces, piano parts are actually an entire orchestra. We have different sounding. We have the bass, we have the trebles, like the soprano and like the tenor and the alto. We have at least, we could have different lines and different ranges with one piano in one piece. And that's why you gotta know each part, each line, and each note that is being produced. And you might actually think that it's very difficult, and I'm telling you, it's not difficult. Let's select a song that you have listened to from your childhood and still is stuck in your head and you've been listening to forever. And you would realize that you actually know a lot of details about it. You know each note, you can sing it, and you know the lyrics very well. You know where it would increase the dynamic and where it would lean back. And that actually shows that when you listen to something pretty well, you know it better. And the truth is, when you can sing something, it means that you know the parts very well. And when you know the parts very well, you get a better interaction with the piece, and because you technically know what is going on with it. Later on, when it's stuck in your head, in your ears, it would help your performance and decrease your stress a little bit. For that, I'm going to give you some practices later, but pay attention to the different lines that are going on. If you have like a chord or like 3 lines going on at the same time, pay attention to each line that is moving forward. 3, look at your piece from a compositional perspective, not an audience perspective. I'm telling you, a lot of us look at our music in a shallow level, and our music actually deserves a deeper view. If you want to get to know your music and get used to it, you gotta live with it. I'm telling you, after a while, you can live with tons of music. It is possible, you know? Like thousands of pieces that you know measure by measure. Well, in fact, the process gets easier. The more music you know, the easier it will be for you to know the next music. And it went by for me so fast, and now for me it's easier, and it's a very fast process to know composition of a music, and I'm pretty sure that it will be the same for you. And this process can make you love your music because of the fact that you know every inch of it, and in case of a problem you can fix it very fast because you're equipped with all of the tools that you need. Fourth thing to remember is that repetition is not the ultimate key to a good practice, but your brain actually is. It's like you practice something 1,000 times so that your muscles by chance get it. However, what I believe in is, instead of repeating something 1,000 times for your muscles, understand something with your brain and then repeat it, so that you actually, first you understand something with your brain, then you repeat it so that your brain remembers that clue. When you understand something, you technically give it more elements for you in order to remember. So technically you have a backup for your muscle memory. In case of a stress during the performance, if your muscle memory doesn't respond well, you can just return to your brain and all the information that you already have from the part, and you would just remember what to do, and your brain can actually control your muscles at that moment. Thank you for watching me. Don't forget to subscribe my channel and share this video with whoever that you think they would like this video and they would need it. I promise I would return with further videos in the future regarding practice so that we can all have a good performance using those videos.